Among the Barbie movie universe, there are quite a few of them that feature fairies. The most notable movie series being Barbie Fairytopia, with multiple sequels and spin-offs, including another favorite, Barbie Mariposa. So now that we finally have fairies in The Sims 4 with a new Enchanted by Nature expansion pack, we're gonna be building a village where each tiny home is a different Barbie fairy from the movies. Thank you, by the way, to EA for sending me the early access code so we can check out The Sims 4 Enchanted by Nature. And since I am an EA partner in the EA Creator Network, you can consider supporting my channel by using my code sydneymacoretta at checkout on the EA app or on thesims.com, and I'll earn a small commission off your purchase. So obviously we're building in the new world of Innisgreen, and it has to be over here in the Everdew neighborhood. This is where all of the fairies live, and I want this to be a pretty big lot, so I think we'll try this one, the 50 by 50 lot in Everdew. So to refresh my memory, I was watching back some of the Barbie fairy movie trailers, and I came across this. This is Shimmervale from Mariposa and the Fairy Princess. I kind of feel like we could use this as our inspiration today. We could have like a castle in the middle. We could try and combine two homes and make it look like one big castle. The waterfalls, obviously, we can have the terrain, and then down below we can have some more like smaller little homes like that. Let's try and make this work. So first thing I'm gonna do is open up debug. We're gonna go bb.show hidden objects and bb.show live edit objects. And unlike my other Enchanted by Nature videos, I now have access to all of my packs. We're not gonna just be focused on the one Enchanted by Nature pack. We got everything, whole gang's here again. So let's start off by finding some debug rocks. I'm gonna size these up, and this is gonna be that section to the side where you see like the cliffs. Let's maybe add 2 of them, and I'm gonna push them pretty far back on the lot. Next, we're gonna filter Discover University, and I'm gonna open up debug again. By the way, I see a lot of people asking about how to open the debug menu. You just type in those codes that I mentioned and then type debug in the search bar, and then all of the debug items will show up. So we're looking for this waterfall item from Discover University, and I think we're gonna have these surrounding the main castle. So I'm gonna squeeze these into the rocks. I don't have to worry about adding another pond up top because we're gonna make it look like this is like where the water is coming from. And then just so our waterfall isn't leading to like nowhere, I'm gonna take my terrain and just make little ponds down below. Obviously, we'll fill those up. And then just using some more base game debug, I'm gonna take these rocks and we're gonna put them along the sides. I might just raise them up just to cut off that sharp edge of the waterfall. And then obviously this is just gonna make it look a little bit more natural. I am gonna fix off that sharp edge on the bottom too. I find with the waterfalls it never quite sits where you want it to. So sometimes I like just putting some rocks at the end and just leaving like a tiny bit of separation. You could also probably use like plants or something as well. Perfect. And now we're just gonna raise this terrain up in the center. I like to just raise it up messily like that, and then I go in with my flatten terrain tool and just kind of click where I want the height to be. I don't think it actually has to be that high. Maybe we can try and match it to the rock height. And then also using the smooth terrain tool, I'm trying to just make a pathway like this. This isn't going to be overly important because fairy sims can actually click to teleport anywhere. So getting up and down steep terrain isn't going to be a problem for them. But if you want regular sims to visit your lot, they are going to need a pathway. So I'm just going to flatten that out. I actually also just found these debug rocks. These are from Enchanted by Nature. I'm going to put these along the sides of my terrain. And then I'm also just going to start decorating a tiny bit just so we get the vision. I'm using some of the debug landscaping like the mushrooms and the lilies. I am also going to include some crystals around just because I'm pretty sure that world of Shimmervale is actually powered by crystals, and they're just going to add more of a magical element to the landscape. The crystals are from Realm of Magic Debug, and for now this is our setup. I want to start building some of the shells for our tiny homes, and like I was saying, I want to try and make it look like it's one castle, but it can actually be 2 tiny homes pushed together. Maybe we can connect it via bridge. Like what if coming out of this one we had a tiny bridge like that? Like that can be tiny home number 1, and then we'll connect it to the bridge like this. I'll build another room underneath. Maybe we extend it out a tiny bit. I want to make sure my rocks don't move too much. We can add another tower here in the back, and there were a lot of towers in Shimmervale, so that's why I wanted those in the background, and I think we could be able to get away with this as our shell. For the roofing, I want it to be a little bit funky, so I'm gonna go in with this octagonal roof piece, and we're gonna curve that out and make it pretty flat. So it's gonna look like that, but then I'm gonna copy and paste another one on top of it, and then we can bring that one out and raise it all the way up. I'm gonna bring in the adjusters on that one. Maybe we can play with the curvature a tiny bit, but this is gonna give us that whimsical looking roof. I'll do the same thing on the other towers. And then obviously I think sharing the castle up here has to be Elina and Mariposa. They are 2 of the main Barbie fairies, Elina being obviously the main character in the Barbie Fairytopia movies, and then Mariposa being the main character in the Mariposa spin-offs. Elina is a flower fairy, whereas Mariposa is a butterfly fairy, but the two share similar aesthetics and like color schemes. So I feel like sticking their two tiny homes together will make sense. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but for one of the roofing details, I want to use this item from Jungle Adventure. This is a lotus stone. It can be found in some of the temples, I think, but I feel like this is a pretty versatile item. I've used it before in like whimsical builds like this, and I feel like it just looks really pretty. This is gonna look a little crazy right now with no other roofing, but this is gonna be one of the points on the roof. Once we change this roofing over, obviously it's gonna look a little better. So let's roof the rest of it. We're gonna use a gabled roof right here. I'm tempted to carve it out, but I don't want to because I want to add some of the roof flowers. And like we learned last time, if you curve it out like that, you can't add any roof plants. So I'm gonna maybe curve it inward. We'll see how that goes. We'll do a little roof piece at the front. I think I'll bring another roof piece over to this side. And we're also just gonna add a small roof piece to the bridge. You know what? We're gonna fix this bump out and add something up top instead, just so it doesn't look too symmetrical. And then for the roof trim, I think I want to try and use this Enchanted by Nature plant trim. I love these dormers, but I can't not see them as eyes. To me, they look like little frog eyes, like no matter what. I think I'm gonna change the bridge to this fence. This is one of the new ones from the new pack. Also, some of the color palettes with the new pack, they're giving Bibble, which is kind of how I got the idea to do this. We're definitely gonna have to do something for Bibble. I don't know what. Maybe Bibble can have like their own little house somewhere. I love that sassy little guy. He's gotta be here somewhere. I kind of figured that we needed something on top of this roofing here. So maybe this can be Elina's side and she can have her own like fairy garden up here. Okay, the new roofing update has been kind of bugging me because I've been trying to put some plants up here and it thinks I'm trying to put them on the roof. So it's just like not letting me do it. Like I'll place some of them and it'll be like can't intersect with roofs even though move objects is on. Like what do you mean? Some of them do work though. Okay, so we're just gonna add a couple plants here and there. Oh, maybe we could add some of the flower pots. These are some of the custom ones from The Sims 4 Businesses and Hobbies. And then in there we could add some of the house plants so she could actually come up here and water them and take care of them. I'm trying to lay them out in a way that's still gonna be functional. And then she could either fly up here or we could place a ladder. We can use the mushroom fairy light so it's not so dark. And then I also want to add a chair, but I did need to add a ladder for her. So maybe we'll just keep two plants to keep it functional. But the thing with Elina is in the movies, she doesn't actually get her wings until like later on. She's a flightless fairy for a little bit, so I want to make sure she can get up there no matter what. I'm trying to find some pink stone for the sides. I also want to go in with some columns. I like using a mixture of these new ones from the new pack. I feel like both of them go really well together. So far with the columns, it looks like this. What if some of the towers were glass? I feel like these other ones would probably have to match it, or maybe it would be cute if just this part was glass. Let's play around with it. Let's get our windows. The first time that I went through all of the new stuff, I did not notice this window. It has some really pretty fairy swatches like that. They also have this version of it, and for some reason these remind me of Elina's wings. Like this window to me is giving Barbie Fairytopia Magic of the Rainbow. I also definitely want to use these window boxes. And then same thing for the door, we have this swatch which is so pretty. Like look at the handles. Okay, I changed some parts in the back so there's blue glass back there, and then I'm just gonna add on some of these roof flowers just so they're gonna be surrounding this top floor. And since these are up on a foundation because of the terrain, we're gonna have to connect them. So I'm just gonna connect them via fence first. So like we'll just connect them in the back like that, and then we'll have some stairs leading up to both of them like this. I think if we keep the stairs actually going down the whole thing, it'll be a lot easier for Sims to get up here, and it might end up looking really pretty too. And then we could add some terrain paint coming down here too. For the flooring, we could use some of the stone flooring from Enchanted by Nature. Oh, and we could also bring the fencing all the way down too. Cute. Okay, for Elina's, I just want to add a few more things. I definitely want to add some of the pretty new plants over the door. I do think I want a little door in there connecting the bridge. So we'll add one on the other house as well so they could go from one house to another. We could also add the chandelier in between on the bridges. She obviously needs one of the fairy mailboxes. And then since she is a flower fairy, I want to make sure she has the flower arranging table. I want to give her extra space for gardening pots. And I also just want to have tons of flower landscaping on the side of her house as well. Okay, so far we have Elina's side. Now we need to work on Mariposa's side. So like I was saying, the color schemes are kind of similar, except Mariposa, being a butterfly fairy, has a little more orange and black in her wings. So I would definitely prefer to use an orangey swatch if we can for windows and doors and things like that. lot. Like there is this option, so we would have the same door, just different swatches. And then obviously there would be a matching window swatch. I've added the columns and I'm adding the glass windows along the sides too. And I need more of the butterfly element over here. Cottage Living has one of those butterfly windows. We could place that. We could also place some of the backyard stuffed butterflies around hers as landscaping. And actually, I'm pretty sure in Mariposa Butterfly Fairy Friends, spoiler alert, I guess, but in the movie, part of the plot is that the queen of their kingdom, Flutterfield, gets poisoned and they're trying to go around and find her an antidote so they can cure her. So let's add an apothecary table for this side. That's basically what the apothecary skill is. Okay, so far we have the exterior of Mariposa's and Elina's little castle. Two different tiny homes combined into one. Now we need to work on the rest of this village, which is going to be some homes down here. And I'm trying to figure out who else I want to build for. Like obviously I said we need one for Bibble. Where are we going to put that? I did say I didn't want it to be too far from Elina's, so I'm just gonna move this out. Maybe Bibble can have like the tiniest little home right here. I don't think it has to be too big for Bibble. Even if you have not seen the Barbie movies, if you're on the internet for even just like a little amount of time, you've probably still seen Bibble. You've probably seen the memes. Bibble is like this tiny little sidekick for Elina, but they're so sassy. He's literally just this little puffball, and like he has a girlfriend, Dizzle. It's a whole thing. But you've definitely seen the side-eye meme. Like, do we just give Bibble this tiny little hut? He's like blue and pinky purple. Like these swatches match Bibble perfectly. Bibble can have a little mailbox. Like what else do we give little Bibble? I feel like no matter what I build, I'm just picturing his side-eye at me. His expressions are seriously priceless. Maybe it would work if we added these because he's so full of expression. Maybe the house can also be full of expression too. I'm trying to make sure it's not too in the way, but is this giving Bibble? This is probably going to be a two-parter so that we can furnish the interior in a second video. So again, if you guys want to see anything, maybe I'll leave room for another character's house as well if you have a character in mind that I don't end up adding. But like, okay, there's going to be our Bibble exterior. It looks so silly. Okay, so we have room for a few more. I think I'm going to add one for Azura. Azura is from the Barbie Fairytopia movies, and she's one of the 7 guardians of Fairytopia. There's a really magical moment in the Fairytopia movie where Elina seeks out Azura for help and Azura brings her into her magical cottage. The cottage itself is so magical looking. It has like these flowers that are just bloomed over. So I want to try and build that on this side. It has a really funky shape to it. It has this roofing, which is kind of curved out like this. Azura wears blue, but her house is yellow and purple. So I think we'll keep that to be true on the outside, but then for the interior, we'll do more of a blue for her. We'll find some yellow stone for the exterior, and I might add an extension onto the back as well. So we'll just bring this up. The home itself is full of really weird shapes, so that's why I just keep adding on. And like the curves of the house are super exaggerated like this. I wish I had something to match the droopy flowers. I'm gonna search through debug, maybe see if there's anything similar. We could maybe try and work with this item somehow. This is that bar back item I'm obsessed with. I feel like it's just such a pretty item. It could look cool, maybe wrapped around some of the roofing if we just like tuck it back like this. Anything else that I find to match, I'm just gonna start adding around too, but I'm looking for those droopy flowers, like just anything. I feel like a canopy item would have been so pretty, like if you could put a flower over the bed. While I'm looking, I may as well start adding windows and doors. I'm using these ones with the blue and purple. Like, okay, it's actually kind of like this light. So maybe if we size this up, it'll look more like the lights on the outside, and they're pretty big. So maybe we just go for it and make them huge coming off the side of the house. Actually, if we do that, I think we can get rid of the butterfly bar back. Okay, we're kind of getting somewhere. I'm gonna start connecting these paths. There's something weird going on with my trim in there, so I'm just gonna try and hide it with some of the plants. Ooh, you know what I'm thinking? Let's build a bridge. Maybe, hopefully. I think it's gonna work, but let me try. So I'm adding some flooring. I'm actually just trying to trace around where I had the terrain paint, and then I'll bring it forward and try and connect it onto the house. And then we can keep the same flooring, we can change it up, like whatever. But then now that I added that, I should be, whoa. I don't know why that went gray. It's not supposed to be that color. Okay, but if we have that flooring there, then we should be able to just sink out the terrain. Yes, and then we have a bridge. Wait, this is so pretty. I kind of didn't really know if that was was gonna work, but now we have a little bridge leading over to our house. And look how good that looks with the rest of it. I don't know what kind of flooring I want to put on there yet. Like, I don't know if I should just keep it as how it was, or maybe we just do the new wood flooring. I don't know yet. We're also probably gonna have to adjust and fill in some more landscaping over here, but like, I definitely really like where this is headed. I think we could also try and put some purple trees over to the side. There's a few of them we have actually. There's one from Island Living, there's one from For Rent. There's also a super cute tree from the movie Hangout Stuff Pack, and it has like hanging lanterns from it and stuff. And there's a blue swatch too if we did want to add more blue for Azura. One thing I also wouldn't mind placing in the back of this one is a dining table, because in that scene that I'm referring to, Elina and Azura sit down and have tea, and Bibble is also there, and it's on this like flower shaped table. So I want to make sure I've got a dining table out here just in case I maybe don't have room for it on the interior. So I think I'll add one of the lotus lights, and then from my wedding stories we can add the teapot. We could also light it up more back here with some of the branch lights. I'm gonna also add a fairy house back here. Oh my gosh, I didn't notice this before, but this is a fairy home. I'm gonna add this somewhere too, maybe just over to the side like this. And this one is also going to have an apothecary table. Okay, so that is our home for Azura. I really like this one. I feel like those lights look kind of cute, and in the grand scheme of things too, it matches our aesthetic even though it's not the same color. I love this so far. We're gonna do one more house over to the side, but I don't know who I want to include. Part of me was thinking of doing one for Laverna. She's basically the main villain in the entire Barbie Fairytopia series. There's also Henna, who's a villain in Barbie Mariposa, or there's Sunburst too from Fairytopia. I feel like that would be a really cute house. Like, just like thinking about the color palette right now. If we went with Laverna, there's a lot of swatches that would match her aesthetic, even though they'd be a little bit darker than the rest of this place. But maybe we could tie it together with all of the purple. So Laverna is the main villain in the Barbie Fairytopia series. Her twin sister is the rightful ruler of Fairytopia, but Laverna wants to take her place. So okay, I do still want this to fit in somehow. She technically lives in a castle, so we could make it look sort of like a combo of the two houses, like with the matching roofing for the castle and then the curvy roof shape from Azura's house. And then we can try our best to have other matching elements, and I'm also going to try and connect that flooring. Like, I can try and add flooring on to this side. We can use the same matching columns over here too, but then I might open this part up with some spandrels. I've actually been wanting to use some of the darker swatches on this too, so like we can use the darker trim. What are the door options? Laverna has like purple and green colors going on. Let's do this door, but then we can do the more colorful windows. She can definitely have one of the weird chimney details. I'll raise some of these orbs up on these points, and I feel like we could definitely include a cauldron for her. I want to add some of these purple and green tables, and then we could combine some of the potions and some of the like realm of magic stuff with more of the apothecary ingredients and things like that. We could add this flower on the table. I'm making a spot leading to the back of her house as well. We could give her one of the pergolas. Maybe the cauldron should actually go back here. For some reason I want hers to be extra overgrown, so I'm just adding a ton of these wall plants. We can add some seating out here. We can add some of the green mushrooms by her house. All right, so with everything, I just finished up Laverna's house. I made quite a few changes to it. I kept going back and forth, so I was like, you know what, let me just finish this and show you. I ended up changing it over to green just because I felt like the dark purple was a little bit too much. The contrast didn't really match as much, but I did go in and add some crystals around her house. She's got the orbs up there as well, and I feel like the green just matches everything a little better. Plus we've got the purple trees over there that match the ones at Azura's house. Honestly, I think my favorite of all of these is Azura's. I'm really excited to do the interior on that one. This studio is so pretty though. Let me get into live mode and show you so you can see it with the waterfalls going. It is nighttime in my game right now, but this is how it looks at night so far. I added multiple different water features too, so we've got some fountains going. The waterfalls look really pretty as well. I'm gonna change this over so it's daytime, and here it is going in live mode in daytime, and it's the fall right now too. So all of the trees around are orange, and I feel like it just brings out the purple a lot more. But that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you want to see in part 2. If there's another house you want me to add somehow, or whatever you want to see going on in the interiors, let me know. And if you like the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.